Hello and welcome back to Valheim Mod Reviews. I am Ruijven, and today I'm looking at the popular mod MonsterLabZ. MonsterLabZ offers an expansion of about 25 new common enemies, 2 mini-bosses, and 4 bosses. These enemies range from the meadows to the deep north and ashlands, with lots of action in between. If you're interested in learning more details about the reward options, the boss progression, or any hints, then keep your eyes open during the video. Otherwise, I'll drop some spoilers and tips at the end of the video to help you out. You can find the MonsterLabZ mod on the Thunderstore and on Nexus. Simply download to get started. As far as game theme and integrity, quite a few of these monsters are very believable and fit very easily into the Valheim universe. Many follow a similar model and graphic style as the original Valheim enemies, and there were many times I thought these would be a great addition to the vanilla game. On the other hand, there are a few enemy models that are slightly out of normal. Depending on how Valheim purist you would like to be, there is always the option to turn off those enemies in the config file. As far as balance goes, I thought these enemies were usually very close to their biome counterparts. The bosses were definitely bosses. If you've played through the vanilla bosses, then these will be a fun challenge. Another option for balance is by editing the configuration file. You can indicate where you want creatures to spawn, when, and how often. You can also pick up a config file like Daon's MasterLabZ config or my own config file at my Buy Me a Coffee website if you'd rather not mess with it yourself. Some pros and cons. Let's look first at the pros. New enemies, new bosses, some really cool locations, and just a lot of possibilities with new NPC models. The expanded enemies and biomes add a welcome challenge, and the spawn details are configurable. The mod creator also has a great Discord that I found tons of answers with a simple search. This mod has been around and updated for several years, and it's definitely something I wish I had downloaded sooner. I think I didn't because I didn't know what it was, and it looked rather intimidating. For the cons, some of the configurations need some tweaking, but then again, they're easy to adjust. Getting the trophies needed to summon the bosses took a little time and research, but then again, if you follow the clues and locations around the bosses, you may figure it out quicker than me. If you still need some help, just stay tuned until the end of the video for a few spoiler details. Another spoiler I needed to look up were a few details about the boss reward enchanted sword crafting. If you are interested in learning more, wait until the end for a few helpful tips on that one. One other con that is easily managed was loading this mod on a map that has been explored or partially explored. If this is you and you prefer not to make a new map to use this mod and use on your existing world, then I recommend 1. Save and back up everything, then 2. Get the Update World mod by Jarakusla linked down below. Then stay tuned to the end for the easy step-by-step guide. As far as frame rate response, you may notice a slight drop when you have more enemies loading in your area. As I mentioned, for the most part, everything can balance out if you tweak the enemy spawns to what works best for you. I have played this on a solo server and my dedicated server without any other complications than already mentioned. I updated my maps on both solo and server without any issues, and I've balanced the config file for what works best for me. Overall, I'm glad I downloaded this mod, and I look forward to using it in solo play, my own server, and a server I am currently helping to build. Of course, I would love to hear your experience with this mod. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to tell me some of your favorite mods as well. Now for some spoilers, tips, tricks, and info to share. Tip number 1, update world. Let's do a step-by-step to get this in your existing world. After all, if you can't get the mod to work, I doubt you'll like it very much. Download MonsterLabZ and download Update World, then go to your existing world in-game. Be sure to have console commands activated, press F5, and type the following to spawn the locations in your world. You can copy and paste it from the description below. Pay attention to where there are and are not spaces between the words. After you type or paste, then hit enter. It will ask you to type start to initialize, so type start and press enter. Several moments later, and it should update all the locations. To find the boss locations on your map, find the well near your original starting point. It should be within 500 units of the vanilla boss stones. Dive through, jump up the rocks, and click on each of the rune stones. All but one will update your map of the boss locations. One boss, the Kraken, is a low chance spawn in the ocean, so you'll need to sail around to find that one. Tip number 2, the sword reward. When you complete the bosses, you can also acquire a pretty cool sword that evolves with each boss kill. In order to do this, you need an iron sword and the Frigga trophy. Place them in the obliterator, pull the handle, and step back. Add the next boss trophy and upgraded iron sword, rinse and repeat. One thing I was not aware of are the different options for the ending sword. I thought it was a linear continuous progression, but it is not. Your sword is complete when you enchant it in the obliterator with either of two boss trophies, the Ash Holder Queen to give a fire sword, or Balder to give a lightning sword. If you want both swords, you'll need to repeat the boss progression from the beginning. I hear placing the sword in the obliterator with a Thunderstone will repair it. Maybe. Tip number 3, summoning bosses. The trophies needed to sacrifice at the boss altars are as follows. For Frigga the Spider, you'll need 10 spider fangs. These are a low drop rate item from all spiders. For the Kraken, you just have to be in the right place at the right time, and have a backup ship ready just in case. For Balder, you need 5 Drake trophies, which should not be too difficult since there are drakes flying on his island home near the altar. And for the Ash Huldra Queen, you need 10 Ash Huldra tails from the Huldra in the surrounding areas. And my last tip, if something is not working right, you aren't getting all the enemies you thought you would be, or you're getting more than you bargained for, change the config file. It's very simple to change the spawn chances, the spawn locations, or disable the spawning of certain creatures. Whatever you do, if you mess it up, just trash the config file and start the game again. It should reset for you, or you can download several other options. I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to your questions and comments. Until next time, happy adventuring.